Legends of Tomorrow might be Warner Brothers' biggest show. Charlie.
Susanna?
Charlie, what are you doing in my comics explainer video?
What are you doing in my TV explainer video?
Oh no. Are we in a crossover?
Probably. When do you think it's going to be over?
I don't know. Secret Wars has been going on for 8 months?
Well, as long as we're here, we should probably explain Legends of Tomorrow. So where do we even start?
How about the Atom?
Oh, I know the Atom. He's shown up in The Flash and Arrow. Ray Palmer is a scientist who invented a dwarf star alloy suit that lets him fly, shoot energy blasts, and, most recently, shrink.
Ray Palmer's origin is pretty much the same in the comics, a scientist who wants to fight famine and overpopulation by inventing shrinking technology. But he only figured out how to shrink himself and immediately decided to fight crime instead of continuing his research. Although it's worth pointing out that the first incarnation of the Atom, Al Pratt, didn't even have shrinking powers. He was just a short dude. Unlike Marvel's big shrinking hero Ant-Man, Ray Palmer has no problem shrinking to the subatomic level, as his name might imply. In fact, his signature move was to call somebody on the phone and then instantly travel to them by hitching a ride on the signal.
My physics is a little rusty, but does that actually make sense?
Oh, nothing about shrinking heroes makes sense.
But the Atom's only one of a bunch of Flash characters in Legends of Tomorrow. The team also includes Captain Cold and Heatwave, a pair of villains who are sometimes frenemies, sometimes rivals. What are they like in the comics?
Pretty much the same.
Huh.
Guy with a cold gun, guy with a fire gun. Both of them probably annoyed that Mr. Freeze and Firefly get all the attention. Firestorm has also been around for a while, but has never really hit it big outside of comics, or maybe even in comics. The traditional hook of Firestorm, the nuclear man, has always been that the Firestorm Matrix, as it's called, needs 2 people to work. Once the 2 characters who make up Firestorm come together, they become a single entity with a whole suite of nearly omnipotent powers.
That sounds pretty much the same as the TV version, who can fly and shoot hot plasma from his hands. Professor Martin Steen needs to form Firestorm with a compatible person every so often, or his health deteriorates. His first partner, Ronnie Raymond, actually died saving Central City in the first season finale of The Flash. It looks like he'll be headed into Legends of Tomorrow with his new partner, Jefferson Jackson, a washed-up high school football star turned auto mechanic. That covers all the simple characters, so how about someone more complicated, like White Canary? I've got a spreadsheet here somewhere. She's Oliver Queen's girlfriend, Sarah, who everybody thought had died when he was stranded on the island where he got his arrow training, but who turned out to have been training with the League of Assassins all along as the Black Canary. And then Sarah was killed by Oliver's sister, who I should mention was brainwashed at the time, and her lover, Nyssa, showed up looking for revenge and wound up training Sarah's sister, Laurel, in the martial arts. And after becoming the second Black Canary, Laurel decided to use Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus Pit and a little help from John Constantine's magic to bring Sarah back to life.
In comics, White Canary is just a villain who wants to kill Black Canary because the hero defeated her 12 brothers in single combat.
That's a lot simpler.
Legends of Tomorrow can pretty much create White Canary from whole cloth, but it's not unlikely that they'll pull from the story of Black Canary as well. She was a martial arts expert and member of the Justice League of a Parallel Earth. Later, she moved to our Earth, started dating Green Arrow, and got a sonic scream ability known as the Canary Cry.
Because canaries are well known for their debilitating screeches.
Yep. Eventually, her character was solidified as Black Canary Dinah Lance, daughter of the original Black Canary, whose name was also Dinah Lance.
I'm gonna need a new spreadsheet.
It's time to talk about Hawkgirl and Hawkman. Are you ready?
I think I am. In The Flash and Arrow, they're Egyptian lovers repeatedly reincarnated only to be killed by the immortal Vandal Savage in every one of their lives so he can absorb their power, Highlander style.
Well, Hawkman and Hawkgirl have 2 very distinct origin stories that have been battling it out for years. One of them is, as you said, an ancient Egyptian love triangle destined to reincarnate and destroy each other in each life.
And the other?
Space cops from a bird planet. Or sometimes space cops from a planet where cops wear bird wings?
You don't say.
Either way, they come to Earth to learn our policing techniques and become superheroes. Occasionally, the space cop and Egyptian reincarnation backstories have even been combined.
Susanna, how do you combine?
Hawk aliens built the pyramids.
I thought they were grain silos. Well, in the television series, when Vandal Savage isn't eating the souls of Hawkman and Hawkgirl, he seems to be the primary villain of Legends of Tomorrow, the main badnik that the team is following through time in order to thwart his evil deeds.
He's a little different in the comics.
How so?
He's a caveman who was made immortal by radiation from a space rock and has been doing bad crimes ever since. Basically, if there's been a really bad person in Western history, Vandal Savage either was them or was advising them.
Well, what about the historical East Germanic Vandals?
They were probably named after him. What I really like about Vandal Savage is, even though he still has a lot of barbaric character values and vices, like cannibalism, he spends all his time in the modern DC universe strutting around in a business suit, amassing power and money and influence, just like Ra's al Ghul or Lex Luthor or Max Lord. He's a master of adaptation and a great ultimate villain for a show about time travel.
And speaking of time travel, there's one other character in Legends of Tomorrow that we know pretty much nothing about so far, and that's...
the man with the best name in the DC universe, Rip Hunter, Time Master. For a brief period after his creation, Rip featured in regular stories centered on his time travel adventures, but much, much more often, he has functioned primarily as a plot device. Want some superheroes to go on a time-hopping adventure? As the DC Universe's resident protector of the time stream, Rip Hunter can just show up in his time sphere shouting, "It's your kids, Marty!" and whisk them away, which seems to be the role he occupies in Legends of Tomorrow as well.
So he's the DC Universe's Doctor Who?
Pretty much. It's ironic that he's being played by Doctor Who veteran Arthur Darvill. Rip Hunter goes hand in hand with time travel shenanigans, and Legends of Tomorrow looks like it's going to be a very timey-wimey show. We've already got confirmation of at least one episode set in the 1950s, and plenty of hints at earlier or even later time periods in the trailers.
We'll find out for sure when the show premieres on the CW, and we get to see whether this patchwork of superheroes can really live up to the name.